Hello and welcome back to another OMNIHEROES video. So I did go ahead and do it. I picked up the skin because I was very curious as to how it would impact this team setup. So the traditional team setup would be something like this with, where have you gone, Ophelia in this slot. We've gone through it before. I'm not going to go through it again. If you want to go back and look at the previous videos, go ahead. It explains it all. So let's just jump straight into it. The thing that I'm looking for really is just to see how much damage overall that we're doing. So we'll have to keep focusing on this bit at the bottom. So let's go ahead, jump in. Now I just want to see how much Dahlia is doing with the current setup. So this is the standard setup without Cleo. It has the skin, but the skin has no impact on how things work in this particular setup. You can have Seraphina without skin and this combo will still work absolutely fine. So we get our relic triggers, and that's it for the relic triggers. We're good to go.
Radiance will protect us.
So we get the double Atrops trigger, which also adds on for Ophelia as well. Ophelia will boost attack because of the increased HP for the rest of the match. We're doing 40,000, so 40,000 million. That's the benchmark that we need to hit with this combo. So let's go ahead and try this again. Now with the skin for Seraphina, we can take out Atrops and we can go ahead and pop Cleo in this position. And I want to see how much damage the difference is currently. Now remember, Cleo is at 2 stars or 7 stars. If Cleo were at higher star level, things might be different in that she might share the Striker's synergy with Seraphina. So that might be a contributing factor as well. The fact that Atrops is permanently a striker, whereas Cleo can change. We do get the so we get Seraphina triggering first because she's got that skin, and then we get Cleo here to double ult. So let's go ahead and see. We do get the attack increases because of the max HP increases as well, and then Dahlia will copy all of those. And yeah, we're not doing anywhere near as much damage. And again, it's because my Atrops is currently 15 stars, full red runes, full DPS. So she's doing sort of the max damage possible. Whereas Cleo, let's just jump into the stats that I've got for Cleo. Jump into runes. I've given her full exclusive runes and unique effect as well, which won't have too much of an impact, the unique, but it's always better to try it and make sure that we're maxing out this as much as possible. Again, we don't have this unlocked. That might be part of the reason as to why, but we do in this setup instead. I think this is a more viable setup for PvP rather than having Atrops in here, because you do have the 3 Dooms and you have the 3 Celestials as well as the 5 Royals. So let's go ahead and take Ophelia out, because Ophelia I think was producing the most amount of damage, and what we want to see is whether or not Atrops will buff Cleo or whether or not Cleo will buff Atrops. So let's jump into this one. Now remember, 40,000 million is the benchmark. That is where we want to get to, and I very much doubt that we'll get to it unless this trigger is possible. Unless they start to stack for some unknown reason. So we'll go ahead and see. We get our relic triggers as per usual.
Radiance will protect us.
So we get Seraphina triggering first because she's got the skin, and then Cleo will trigger twice. Yep, there we go. So we get our attack increase as well, and then we get Atrops to buff. So has Cleo's double buffed the damage output? We got respectable 16 there. I don't think that was a lot. Well, I don't think that was peak. So let's go ahead and see if we don't get any misses this time. I just want to test it, keep testing it, and just see whether or not, or how high we can get these figures here. So again, we'll have to sit through the first round in a bit, but bear with me. I just want to see these test results. Feel free to ×2 speed it. Apparently I sound much better at ×2 speed because I talk reasonably slowly. Right, so we've got our relic triggers out of the way. Get the blessing, is absolutely fine. Seraphina will trigger. Another thing to note as well is that we would have 3 strikers on the team in this setup if Cleo was at 8 stars. If you do have Cleo at 8 stars, feel free to test at home. Took everybody out doing 14, so that's nowhere near the damage that we've seen before. Now let's go ahead and see if there's a difference if we do it in this order instead. But I think because Cleo's speed is still higher than Atrop's, we won't see Atrop's trigger first. We should see Cleo trigger first again, and we'll just see what the different damage results are as well.
Radiance will protect us.
I do like that animation. Has to be said. I like this one as well, but I like the Seraphina skin animation. So we get the double trigger from Cleo, but this time remember that Dahlia is switching with Atrops as well, so just something to keep in mind. So we get less, so it is better for Cleo to be in that front slot to swap with Dahlia if you are running that particular setup. Sorry about that. Might have been a second for you. It was a couple of minutes for me. Yeah. So, like I said, it seems as though putting Cleo in this front slot and having Cleo switch with Dahlia is the most optimal setup for this particular team. But it is nowhere near as powerful yet as this setup. Where we go? Down here. This setup is still currently the most powerful in the game, or the most damaging in the game that I've seen. Potentially could be better if we added Halissa in there as well, but again, just having one of these buffers on your team, the ones that give pledges, is the most optimal, irrespective of how much Cleo increases Atrop's attack. You're still only going to get a sliver of how much damage you're going to do if Ophelia is in the team. So that's it from me. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to do any more testing on this. I've pushed it as far as I can go. The only way I could push it any further is if I got Cleo up to 8 stars, but that's not going to happen, I don't think, until the end of Season 5, fast approaching. So again, let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you very much for watching, and if you can subscribe, it would be really appreciated. Trying to get up to that 1,000 subscriber mark, so if you can, go ahead, click that button, and then, you know, feel free to ignore me for the rest of your life. I do hope you have a fantastic day, and good luck in whatever it is that you're up to.